Some days end with something still rattling around inside us. The conversation that didn't go our way, the answer we didn't want to hear, the thing we wanted that someone else said no to. Tonight's reading from the first book of Kings sits us down with a king who couldn't let one of those small things go. And Bishop Sheen tells us, quietly, why. In our Monday evening reading from the first book of Kings, chapter 21, we hear, Naboth, the Jezreelite, had a vineyard in Jezreel next to the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. Ahab said to Naboth, "Give me your vineyard to be my vegetable garden, since it is close by, next to my house. I will give you a better vineyard in exchange, or, if you prefer, I will give you its value in money." Naboth answered him, "The Lord forbid that I should give you my ancestral heritage." Ahab went home disturbed and angry at the answer Naboth the Jezreelite had made to him. "I will not give you my ancestral heritage." Lying down on his bed, he turned away from food and would not eat. A king with everything in front of him. What we see is a man who has been told no about one piece of land, going home, lying down, and turning his face away. He won't eat. The whole machinery of his life keeps moving. But somewhere inside him, a small wound is being pressed and pressed until it takes up the whole room. We know this posture. The conversation that didn't go the way we wanted, the recognition we didn't get, the small no that someone said to us today, and we carried it home with us in resentment. Then Jezebel comes in. His wife Jezebel came to him and said to him, "Why are you so angry that you will not eat?" He answered her, "Because I spoke to Naboth the Jezreelite and said to him, 'Sell me your vineyard, or if you prefer, I will give you a vineyard in exchange.' But he refused to let me have his vineyard." His wife Jezebel said to him, "A fine rule over Israel you are indeed. Get up, eat, and be cheerful. I will obtain the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite for you." So she wrote letters in Ahab's name, and having sealed them with his seal, sent them to the elders and the nobles who lived in the same city with Naboth. This is what she wrote in the letters. "Proclaim a fast and set Naboth at the head of the people. Next, get 2 scoundrels to face him and accuse him of having cursed God and king. Then take him out and stone him to death." His fellow citizens, the elders and nobles who dwelt in his city, did as Jezebel had ordered them in writing through the letter she had sent them. They proclaimed a fast and placed Naboth at the head of the people. 2 scoundrels came in and confronted him with the accusation. "Naboth has cursed God and king." And they led him out of the city and stoned him to death. Then they sent the information to Jezebel that Naboth had been stoned to death. When Jezebel learned that Naboth had been stoned to death, she said to Ahab, "Go on, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite that he refused to sell you, because Naboth is not alive, but dead." On hearing that Naboth was dead, Ahab started off on his way down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite to take possession of it. Notice what Ahab actually does. He doesn't give the order or write the letter. He turns his face to the wall, and the order gets given anyway. The thing he wanted finds its way to him through hands he can claim are not his. And then he gets up, eats, and walks down to the vineyard like a man on a stroll. A man is dead, and the king is taking his land. That is what the appetite does when nothing inside us is strong enough to refuse it. It doesn't always lift its own hand. Sometimes it just waits in the dark of us, sulking. And someone or something eventually comes along to do what it wanted done. A small no we couldn't accept becomes a wound. A wound becomes a brooding. A brooding becomes a vineyard taken by force. None of it would have happened if the king had been able to hear one word, the word no, and let it sit down inside him without festering. He couldn't. And the day we just lived had moments where, in a much smaller way, neither could we. The mercy of this passage is that it shows us the trail before we walk it. We see the king on the bed, the small refusal that started everything. And we are given the chance, here at the end of our day, to look at our own bed and ask quietly what we are turning our face toward tonight, or whether we want to lay it down before sleep. Welcome to the Sacred Heart family. I'm Aaron. We pray together, walk with the saints, and reflect on the gospel every day. If this is the kind of reflection your evening needs, like, subscribe, and click the notification bell. As we prepare our hearts for rest, we now turn to the wisdom of Bishop Fulton Sheen. Those who discipline themselves and tame the ego by little acts of self-denial have already prepared themselves to meet crosses from the outside. They have familiarized themselves with them, and the shock is less when they are thrust on their shoulders. Little acts. That is what stays with us tonight. Not the heroic renunciation, not the dramatic gesture, but the little acts. The second helping passed up, the complaint not spoken, the phone set down, the word held back, the small no we say to ourselves quietly without anyone watching when nothing important seems to be at stake. What Sheen is telling us is that those small refusals are not small at all. They are how the soul learns to bend without breaking. The ego that has never been told no will collapse the first time the world says it. The one that has been gently taught, day by day, in tiny matters almost nobody sees, can stand under a real weight when one comes. The cross from the outside lands on shoulders that have already been carrying something. It still hurts, but it does not crush. This is the quiet labor of a Catholic life. It doesn't look like much from the outside, and most of the time it doesn't look like much from the inside either. A small fast on a Friday, a morning offered before the day takes us, a patience held when impatience would have been easier, a word of kindness when silence felt safer. Nobody applauds, nobody notices, and somewhere underneath it all, slowly, the ego is being taught its place. Slowly we are becoming the kind of soul that can hear the word no without it paralyzing us. And when the cross comes, and it will, we will not be Ahab. We will be tired and sore, and we may weep, but we will not be undone. There is no urgency tonight. The week has only just begun, and whatever it brings will come in its own time. Set down what you can. The small no someone said today. The want that didn't get answered. The brooding that started to take root before dinner. Offer it back to Him and hold it through the night. The Sacred Heart of Jesus is keeping watch over this house, this room, this bed. He has carried far heavier things than what we are bringing him, and he carries them gently. Rest in that. Share your intentions in the comments of the video so that the Sacred Heart family may walk with you in faith and charity. Tonight's Catholic evening prayers are waiting for you at sacredheartpreciousblood.com. Click the link in the pinned comment now, and I'll see you there. God bless.